Distribute the 2, you get 2x plus 2. Solve, subtract x. Negative 4 equals x plus 2. Subtract the 2. X is negative 6. Then we have a check. I have log base 3 of negative 6 minus 4. Right there, you're going to be taking log base 3 of a negative number. That's not possible. You can't take the log of a negative number. You could try it in your calculator. Log of something negative is going to tell you there's an error. Because remember, the log is an inverse of an exponential. And unless it had a negative out in front of it, exponential will never give you a negative. A number raised to a negative exponent, it gives you a small number, but it's still positive. So the log cannot be negative. That doesn't mean that x cannot be negative. It just means if you plug x into the original equation and you end up taking the log of a negative, then that is not possible. So this is no solution. And because you cannot take, I don't know why I put a G there, take log of a negative number. Again, x could be negative. You know, if we had log of x plus 12, that would be okay, because that would make that log of 6. And so then it wouldn't matter. But you can't take the log of a negative number. So instead of going through and checking it like we did last week and making sure each one, just go through and look and just make sure when you plug in x, you're not taking the log of the negative. So you don't have to actually write this out each time. You can kind of do that in your head. Now especially, since we know what we're looking for. Question? All right. So, rewriting this one, we have adding. So when we add, what do? Multiply. So you have log base 2 of x plus 2 times x. I'm going to put a bracket around there just so I know that's the log of that whole thing. And then what else do we have here?
Log base 2 and 2 to the 3rd.
Yeah, you can take that 3 and make it a power. So yes, it is log base 2 of 2 to the 3rd. Now again, you have two logs that are equal to each other. So what you're taking the logs of have to be equal to each other. So x plus 2 times x equals 2 to the 3rd. Distribute the x. X squared plus 2x equals 2 to the 3rd, which is 8. How do I solve something like that? Yes. We're going to have to factor. It's a quadratic. When it's a quadratic, you basically have 3 ways to solve it. You can factor. You can complete the square, which I don't think anybody ever picks, or you can use quadratic formula. And so in order to factor or use the quadratic formula, it's got to equal 0. So you've got to subtract the 8. To set it equal to 0. And I need two numbers and multiply to give me negative 8 But the add to give me 2.
4 and -2.
Positive 4 and negative 2. So when you set those equal to 0, x equals negative 4 and x equals 2. Now we just have to plug them in and make sure you're not taking the log of a negative. If I plug in negative 4, boom, that very first one is going to be the log base 2 of negative 2. So it cannot be this one. If I plug in 2, I get the log base 2 of 4, log base 2 of 2, we're good. Those are both even, so it's going to work out just fine. That's the only reason we need to check it, is so that we can't find any logs that are negative. Just kidding. You try this one. I know it says natural log, but it's the same as log. Oh, these. Those should be, multiplied. I think that's right. God, sidetracked and forgot. Yeah, you're good. Keep going. You're almost there. Yes, that's right. Keep going. Sorry. No, it's y'all's fault, or my fault, not y'all's fault. You're close. Oh, you multiply. Oh, those two should be divided. Oh, because it's subtraction. Yep, that's right. That's right. Well, you should divide it by the 11 because you're trying to get the x by itself. But But yes, you were doing it right. Uh-huh.
Miss King,
Yes, ma'am.
is Kendrick McShane in there?
He is.
I need to go to the nurse.
Okay.
Probably with his things.
Okay. I just have a sign. We'll find it here in a sec. That's right. Okay, so good job. First one, since it's subtraction, you divide. So that's the natural log of x plus 3 over 2 equals the natural log of 2x minus 1 times 3. Because, oops, I didn't mean to put it there. Because those two are added. You're taking natural logs of two things, so what you're taking the natural logs of have to be equal. I'm going to go ahead and distribute the 3. I don't know why I put a 3 here. I'm sorry. Should be a 2. To try to solve this, I would multiply both sides by 2. 2's cancel. You get x plus 3 equals 12x minus 6. Add 6 to both sides, or subtract x from both sides. You get 3 equals 11x minus 6. Add 6. 9 equals 11x. Divide by 11. X is 9 over 11. Did you find the sign? Okay. Questions there? Alright. Then if I plug in 9/11ths, these are all going to end up being positive because 9/11ths plus something is positive. When I multiply it by 2, it's going to be bigger than 1. So I'm taking the natural log of positive numbers. So we're good. Okay, last one, I do believe. Yeah, last one, period. So we're going to rewrite these two. First, this is a power. So it's the natural log of 2x minus 3 equals the natural log of x minus 2 squared. Then since it's I forgot to write down the natural log. Oh my gosh. There we go. So I would subtract those.